To look more at the latest developments in Lebanon and the region, we're joined by Rami Khouri, Palestinian American journalist and distinguished public policy fellow at the American University of Beirut. He's also a non-resident senior fellow at the Arab Center, Washington, D.C. Rami, we began talking about the Iran-U.S. second round of negotiations, went to this latest news of a ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon, though Hezbollah wasn't a party to those talks. Your overall comments on what's happening right now in the region, where you think it's all going?
Well, there's so many different dynamics going on at the same time within individual countries, among countries in the region, and between the region and the global power, especially the United States, but also China and others, and Israel, of course. My comments are that one of the striking things about this situation is that we've seen now in the last 6 weeks, Iran and Hezbollah almost single-handedly checking, not defeating, but checking the two biggest military powers in the region, which is the U.S. and Israel. They forced them into two ceasefires, one in Iran and now one in Lebanon. Now, this is not a finished story. This is still going on. These may collapse and the war may resume. But the fact that the U.S. and Israel have been forced to enter these ceasefires, I think, is a sign of the evolving balance of power across the region. And you're going to see this reflected, for instance, in many Arab countries who are, especially in the energy-producing Gulf region, who are going to recalibrate their relations. They'll still be very close friends with the U.S., buy a lot of weapons and buy a lot of tech stuff, but they're also going to recalibrate to have more meaningful ties with Iran, with Turkey, with China, with Russia and other people like that. So we're seeing a slow motion evolution of the entire balance of power in the region, with the background being that the overwhelming majority of people in the Arab region and Islamic Turkey and Iran, about 750 million people, the overwhelming majority of them see Israel and the U.S. as their main security threat. So something historic is going on here in slow motion.
And how does, Rami Khouri, these negotiations between Israel, the United States, Iran, and Lebanon impact the current situation in Gaza? Talk also about the role of the other armed groups like Hamas, the Houthis, if you can talk about what's happening across the region.
Yes, the Palestine-Israel conflict remains the starting point for all of these other conflicts. So Iran and Israel, Hezbollah's birth, Israel, Hezbollah, all of these tensions and conflicts ultimately derived from the unresolved battle between Palestinian nationalism and Zionism and the State of Israel. So it's crucial for any attempt to get a permanent peaceful situation across the region in the Arab countries, Iran and Israel. It's crucial to address the Palestine issue, which means right now looking at Gaza. Now, Gaza is in a situation of reconfigured colonial domination by the United States and Israel, with carpetbaggers from around the world like Tony Blair and others. I call it the joint venture of the carpetbaggers and the carpet bombers. They've all come together on this to dominate Palestine, destroy Gaza, and now they're looking to do the same thing in Lebanon. But the fact that the Iranians were able to pressure the Americans, to pressure Netanyahu to enter into this ceasefire is a significant sign that the group of movements and countries that have been involved in the so-called axis of resistance, which pushes back against Israeli hegemony and American militarism, that group of actors is still effective. They may not dominate the region, but they're strong enough to do what they've just done, which is force the Americans to force the Israelis to enter into a ceasefire that the Israelis did not want. The Israelis wanted to keep bombing and attacking and occupying and creating more buffer zones. But they've done that. This is the seventh time since the late 60s that Israel goes into Lebanon militarily in a big way, occupies land, moves millions of people around, and every time they've had to pull out because of the resistance they've met and because they could not achieve their goals, which is an acquiescent, passive Lebanese state that agrees to be a vassal state of Israel, and they still refuse to do it. So finding the negotiated mechanism to arrive at a point where the Lebanese have their sovereign rights and security protected, and the Israelis have the same rights, that's the big challenge that lies ahead. It can only be done if it is accompanied by a serious effort to resolve the Palestine-Israel conflict on a permanent and fair basis.
Rami Khouri, we want to thank you for being with us, Palestinian American journalist, distinguished public policy fellow at the American University of Beirut, also non-resident senior fellow at the Arab Center, Washington, D.C. Thanks for watching Democracy Now! On YouTube. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to make sure you never miss a video. And for more of our audience-supported journalism, go to democracynow.org, where you can download our news app, sign up for our newsletter, subscribe to the daily podcast, and so much more.